Question I've got for you, Luke,
Yes, hit me.
to steer it back to your wheelhouse. Someone asked
Cricket?
you... Yeah, cricket, golf, footy. If someone asks you what the market is, what is it?
The market,
What is it?
as in the Sunday market or the
Real
fresh
estate.
food? Yes, real estate market.
What is it?
So the market is that it's a living organism, really, isn't it? It's the confidence that people have got in buying. It's the the comparative sales that have happened before. It's where we think it's going to go forward. So when people are using the market, it's people's feedback. It's what people have paid for properties. It's what people their confidence in what's about to happen. So I look at the market as a living sort of organism, and it changes, and we've seen that in the last sort of 6 months, or even the last couple of months. Everyone 3-4 months ago was just no fear, just hammering away, and then the market's never been better. The market's hot, and it has, and then all of a sudden in that last couple of months the market turned. And it hasn't turned badly in terms of pricing, but it's turned in a way that
Pace.
yeah, the pace, and it's amazing how quickly things happen. And we look back, and my read on the market is that, 2 years ago, the average time on market might have been 6, 8, 12 weeks, whereas for that last 18 months, it's been 2 weeks. And especially the way that we operate in terms of being very straightforward, put the price on, give people all the information they want to know, and they can buy it in the first 2 days. And a lot of our median, we were selling things in the first week all the time. So the education now goes to, and it's our responsibility as the agents to give it to the possible vendors coming up that, hey, it might be a bit more of a grind to get you the same price as we were getting, but you've just got to stick with us, and it might take a bit longer, but we're happy to get there. So it's either the owners meet the market expectations and listen to it, or they're just got to be happy to be on the market for a bit longer.
Because that's one thing I find talking to people throughout the community is when you can say, the market will dictate as to what price or what result you'll get ultimately and when you get it. But people feel like it's just a generic term that all agents might use. But it's more or less supply versus demand at that particular time. And as you said, it's a living organism. It can change. It can change day to day. It can change, which not really, but it could. But it's more of a month-to-month type thing.
It's been a big learning curve for me the last 2 months, because I've only been doing it, 10, 11 months now. And when I come in and start with you,
you're about through your first 12 months. We've got a big
there.
conversation.
You're nearly
about
done
that
your
too.
uni degree.
Nearly. Hopefully I haven't failed.
This could be awkward. It might be Willie in the bush before we know it.
Exactly.
Might hold off.
But it was just so weird coming into real estate at that time. Because it was, you were going to me, I was like, how's, say, Smith Street going? And you're like, that's sold.
Yep.
And I was like, it only went on 2 days ago. And you're like, sold. And then now it's a lot more back to probably what you would call normal real estate. Back when you started, say, 19 years ago, whereas, like you said, it is a bit more of a grind.
Yeah. And that's probably personally what I'm struggling with the most at the moment is the fact, for that last 18 months, because we're only 3.5 years old, the company, so we're still growing and learning. And, for that last 18 months, you would take on, 1 or 2 new listings a week, and you had confidence you were going to sell them in a week, and they were on and they were off and they were gone, and, everything was happening really fast. Whereas now we're still getting a lot of listings, but, they're not moving on as fast. And now it's sort of turning to, right, how are we going to handle all the vendors? Because instead of having 5 or 7 listings, we've got 20 or 25, and and everyone's expecting them to sell really quickly, but they're not. So that's our sort of focus going forward, I think, is how we how we treat our vendors and how we educate them and move on from there. But I think going back to the market, I think it's also a term that can be hidden behind too.
Correct, yeah.
I don't tend to talk about the market a lot. I'm more of a matter of fact, it's here in front of us sort of thing. So, and I think that's our sort of, and a lot of those names that come through about being real and being upfront is our sort of, that's our bread and butter.
Yeah,
and I'd rather bread and butter.
That's our brand.
Maybe we should, bread and butter. bread and butter talk. Nah, that's but that's sort of what we're known for, and I think that's the biggest thing in real estate around here is I think people just want to know how it is. Just tell them how it is, and
I find, look, you can be straight to the point and transparent, and people go, in the past, if someone was had something negative to say to you, they go, "Oh, I'm just being honest," and as you said, they'd hide behind that phrase. But you don't have to be rude to be honest.
Yep.
And rude and get straight to the point. You be honest, straight to the point, concise.
Yep.
You tell people how it is, and you work to that.
Yeah.
As best you can, so.
And that's something that once again I've struggled with personally since I got into real estate is that the emotional connection you get to every sale. And I know when I started out in real estate at Homeseeker, a little shout out to my old friends at Homeseeker. So, and I'd like to thank them for getting me into it. So, I had a great time there. But they taught me, not to get so emotionally involved in every sale because it's going to destroy you. But my thing is, I still do. When you're selling friends or families' homes, it is tough to tell them, the brutal truth of, hey, no one's looking at your home. It's it's overpriced, or people are just not there.
Yeah, I've found that so hard in the start, in the infancy of my career. And they're the people that put their trust in you early on in your career. They're like, yeah, here you go, you do it.
Yeah,
and then you have to have those conversations and go. Yeah, it was great. I got a few great sales early on when the market was booming, and you're like, wow, this is great. But now it's turning, and you're starting to have those harder conversations, especially to people that you know.
Yep.
And that's the thing, you try and keep emotion out of a house sale, but you're emotionally connected to those people anyway.
Yeah.
Whether you're selling the house or not. So it's really hard to.
And that's why a lot of the time, if you've got any friends that want to list, I'm happy to take them on.
Well, actually,
so Dom.
But vice versa there, because I think you'd probably know more people than I do.
Yeah, I just walked into that one, didn't I? So, but
don't lead with your chin, as they say.
Nah, well, I don't have a chin. So. And poor little Louis, the little baby, he's got no chin either.
He got 3.
So,
big boy.
lack of.
I try not to look down. I'm going to, this camera over here is going to see a heap of chins.
So, geez, that got real serious. It went from absolute.
There's a question I was thinking about today, though, because it is a generic term. And you go, the market, and you can be flippant, but to deconstruct it somewhat so people get a better understanding of what it is. And it, as you said, I think a living, breathing organism, and it's just supply versus demand.
Yep.
And if people can understand that it's a supply versus demand, ultimately, dumb it right down, then they can make